G'day listeners, welcome to Bar Karate, the sailing podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer and it is not that time of the week where we get to hang out with some really cool sailors, because it's a different time of the week, because we've got an extra special show for you. I'm getting together with two of my idiot mates and I'm looking forward to what we've got on offer here. It's going to be called Bangin the Bar Super Special, the official, unofficial. I'll get to it in a sec. Let's bring in BP. Hang on.
Greetings, Exalted One.
No BP. Lucky, we've got a substitute. Welcome to the show from, do I call you Randy?
Bangin the Corners, Bangin the Corners, Bangin the Corners, Bangin the Corners. We'll all bang away. And hello.
Jody Shiels, Randy Cunningham, whatever name you want to go through, subbing in. Mate, what I love about this, bringing you in at this time, is BP put the music together for Bar Karate, and quite clearly, you put the music together for Bangin the Corners.
Well, I'd like to claim it, but actually that's Bo. That's Bo playing
is that Bo?
guitar and singing. Yeah, he's a talented little turd, that boy, but... mate, I'd like you to play the banjo. So, no, that's all Bo.
Oh, all right, Bo. Well, apologies, mate, for that. But, yeah, good work. Let's bring in the other bloke.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice.
I had it all planned on what to say, but the only thing you're playing, mate, is the banjo string. Yeah.
Or the flute. I'm good at the flute.
The old skin flute, the old skin oboe.
Skin oboe.
Hey, mate, no, I'm excited about this, and the most you'll hear from BP is in that intro.
Yeah.
So, Jody, good to have you here, mate. We've got an exciting show, something to talk about, and I'm looking forward to the banter.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks for getting me on, guys. It's pretty cool. It's something that we bashed heads about at the start of the week and thought, why don't we have a chat about this upcoming event coming up, and let's make a bit of a dual session, and we came up with the name Bangin the Bar Super Special. So that's a bit of a collaboration between Bar Karate, the world's best sailing podcast, and Bangin the Corners, the 467,000th best sailing podcast. So we're getting there. We are getting there. I've got 10 listeners now, so I'm really excited.
How are you going in Ireland? We find that's one of our
mate,
doesn't go so bad for us.
Mate, Kenya.
Ireland.
We're soaring in Kenya.
Kenya soaring.
We've had Hungary, Kenya.
I don't think I've had any in Kenya. I don't think I've had any in Africa at all.
They'll all be coming, mate. They'll all be coming.
Oh, yeah.
My daughter and her boyfriend are about to go through South Africa on a tour. So they're just going to spread the word.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. You're bound to get 2 listens in South Africa.
All right. Let's clarify what's going on, hey? So what we're doing is, as Jody said, it's the Bangin the Bar Super Special. So Bangin the Corners with Bar Karate. We're going to talk about SailGP Season 3. We're going to do a full preview rundown of what's going on. It is the official, unofficial SailGP Season 3 preview. So we're the official, unofficial Season 3 preview for SailGP. We earn that moniker because we know all the sailors are listening in to this one and probably not listening into anything else. So it's the official, unofficial one, the endorsed.
Unofficial one.
Yeah, the unofficially endorsed.
Or the officially unendorsed.
I'm just doing a quick Google search, and there's no other unofficial SailGP chat anywhere in the world. So this is it.
Bravo.
Yeah.
This is it.
So,
official, unofficial.
Congratulations, boys.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Hey, before we do kick off, though, has it just snuck up on us? Season 3?
Snuck up on us? It's like somebody's thrown the first pitch of the innings and it's gone past, and you've just looked back and the next ball's coming at you. Like, it's just ridiculous, isn't it?
Mm.
When were you in San Fran?
Like yesterday, I think.
Yeah, and we knew it was going to be a pretty tight turnaround for season 3.
Mm.
But geez, like you said, Vicey, it just seems literally like last week that we were celebrating the Aussies winning the title, and here we are. Season 3 is about to kick off with plenty of controversy already. So let's rip into it.
Well, the to show you how tight it is, the Aussies have not even earned the first month of interest on that $1 million.
1.5
Australian $1 million. Australian dollars. Yeah.
Because remember they won the weekend.
Yep.
And the million.
Yeah.
And the series. So like it's poor buggers.
Poor buggers. Yeah. No, happy days.
Yeah. Anyway, we can only dream about that sort of money.
So let's
only money.
Let's define what we're up for next year, because we're all fans. Obviously, Jody, you were the commentator for the first season of SailGP. Got Bangin the Corners going, obviously quite famous in Australia, the Randy Cunningham, the whole thing that you've been done. A lot of passion coming from the man. And so you're the right man to be here chatting. BP, we actually don't know where BP is. We just got a random text. My theory is that Bicey lent him the Defender, and so he's inherited the troubles.
Actually, I might have to start chucking in some X2 jokes. Yeah, I heard he was heading out on a evening sail, but things didn't go to plan.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Doing a delivery to Pittwater, and never been seen again. He's done the Harold Holt. For anybody not from Australia, just Google Harold Holt, and that'll make sense. Right, so
how good's the X2 look? Quickly, how good's the X2 look?
Yeah,
Great
it does
job.
look good.
Yeah, it looks good.
Give him a pat on the back when he's not here, but Jesus, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty cool indeed.
Yep, good one. All right, so season 3, the big changes, of course, is that it's 10 events and 10 teams. 10 teams, 9 boats.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's a perfect segue into that first little drama that's happened on Bermuda. Is the Japanese, who've come second in the season 1 and 2, don't have a boat.
That is crazy.
It is crazy. You know, the logistics of trying to build another boat obviously was just way too much.
Okay, but the question to me is, right, like, we'll get you to explain why the boat's not there, right? Boat 10's not there, but why did the Japanese miss out? How's it worked out? I think I know, but I just want to see what you think.
Well, if you listen to the 347,000 Best podcast, I had Russell Putz on as my last guest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he just explained basically it's a commercial decision. In a nutshell. The league, as in SailGP League, still owns a few of the boats. Japan boat is one of them. And basically, it was the most, they had to make a decision on which team was the least commercial viable option going into Bermuda. Obviously, Canada being a self-funded team had to be there. The Swiss being a new team had to be there. And they couldn't kick the Aussies out because they're reigning champions. And Japanese were the ones that are when all the cards are thrown up, they're the ones that are running the least commercial program at the moment. So see you later, boys. Missing the first 2, possibly the Chatties now maybe 3 events. So it's huge. And if they don't sort their stuff out, I can see that team quite easily being replaced.
With someone comes along much commercially stronger.
Yep.
100%, mate. If someone walks into the SailGP office tomorrow and says, "Here's a check for $20 million. I want my country and my team in there." What are they going to do? They're going to run with it, aren't they?
I heard Greg Norman's putting a team together with the Saudis.
That is it is crazy though. So it's basically punishment for not bringing in any money, or bringing in the least amount of money for your team. So the sport needs to be self-sustaining. As you said, Jody, like the Canadian team turns up completely funded. Like, it's crazy how well that show's organised. So the Japanese team has the least sort of support, and I guess that's, you got to feel for those guys though, because I don't know, finishing second and then being booted. It just shows you the talent that's going on that boat. Nath, no disrespect to any of the other sailors, but on that boat at all. But, you know, Nath is just a superstar, isn't he?
Oh, well, got to be careful because I get called a fanboy of Nathan all the time, considering, you know, grew up straight across the road from you. I've known him for the last 25 years. So, you know, of course, I'm going to be pretty biased on the Nathan bus. But, yeah, I mean, look, he's had a team that, you know, season one, he had Parko and Goose with him, and they went all right. And then Parko and Goose jumped ship, went over to play with Ben, and Nathan had to build it up from the ground again. And young Leo jumped on the flight control, and, you know, he had Francesco Bruni jump on, and, you know, it hasn't been a solid team since season one, and that's got to be tough on an F50 trying to be competitive.
Yeah, especially when Francesco stays on one side.
It can never tack.
But,
get over here.
In saying that, they've still got the results up there, right?
Yep.
But I mean, and without just dwelling specifically on this particular topic, where is their boat now?
It's there.
Do we know? No.
Well,
So is it
the new boat?
Is it being
boat?
Yeah. So the newie. Is it finished, still build?
I believe it's just in the finishing touches, still at Warkworth.
Yeah, so in NZ, still
New
getting
Zealand.
built.
Yeah, still in New Zealand. So, I mean, you know, the drama with the collision in Bermuda, you know, that put them back because they had to fix up Nathan's boat, you know, ironically. You know, in the first race of season two, there was damage in the USA. Then, obviously, there was COVID. And then there was a big collision between GBR and, ironically, again, the Japanese. So, it put the whole build process way back. Way back, you know, and they couldn't knock out another boat.
Do you think it's about time they got rid of the red dot on the side so people stop aiming for it?
I'm with you, mate. I 100%. I would take that thing off. It's right on the bow. I'm just watching some footage here now while we're chatting, and it is literally a target. I'd be getting rid of it.
Love it. I love it. So,
but, you know, it's a shame. It's a shame that I guess SailGP is a victim of its own success in that right. You know, they would have thought 2 years ago, when you look at all the chat, there would have been, you know, people saying, mate, it's a 1 year season. Larry will do his dash, get sick of it and leave. And, you know, it's been far from that. Now we've got 10 teams.
10 teams, 10 regattas in about 6 months.
Possibly 12 to 22 races.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know how they're going to do it. But anyway, we'll get to that, I guess.
Yeah, well, so for the people joining late to the show, so we're going into season 3. For season 1, Australia won, Japan came second. For season 2, Australia won, Japan came second. It's going to be very hard for Japan to come second in season 3. I feel a lot for that team, you know, like they've done an amazing job. It doesn't seem fair in a way, but I get that it's a commercially driven event. You know, all major sports like Formula One cars and all those other sports, they're driven by commercial decisions. So, I guess Japan, you know, the Aussies love an underdog. I reckon the Aussies will be behind Japan as hard as they can go, you know, because we love an underdog. You know, the story will be great, you know, if Japan rally. They are there in Bermuda sailing. They literally are there in Bermuda sailing. So there's 10 teams there, 9 boats. So they are swapping around. We saw some footage of Pete Burling deciding to take a dive off the Spanish boat today. I don't know if you guys caught that. Did you see that?
Yeah, hanging from his Raracus. Yeah.
Just a handle that one.
The harnesses do work.
That's pretty scary. That's pretty scary seeing that.
It's a Pete and Blair thing, though. If you go back on some 49er footage, you'll see Blair just keeping the boat going while he's waiting for Pete to get back on board. You know, it's not unusual. It's a bit of a Tom Jones moment. It's not unusual.
I think he does it for the Instagram. I think it's all on purpose to keep building his profile.
Okay.
His views were down for the week.
Yeah.
Hey, Chooky, check this out. I've got you now.
Okay.
Choice says, bro. But going back to the Nathan or the Japanese thing, it's the fact that they're going to get 3 races, and that's the big chat at the moment. Is it's definitely 2, potentially 3. So that'll be Bermuda, USA, and the Great Britain SailGP gone. Then they get their boat back in Denmark, and then it goes off to France and then Spain. So I think the deal is they get average points for their first 3 regattas.
Mm-hmm.
So a
lot of pressure.
You would have to think that Denmark would be a light air regatta.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to think France could be anything in September, I guess. Spain similar, but the form they always carry is light air. So can you imagine if they come back and they go bang, 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 and all of a sudden leading the whole thing after 3 races?
Oh.
It's going to be an uproar from that.
No.
It's going to be an absolute. People will be frothing about that.
Yeah. Well, that's a good one. I like that one.
Do you think? Russ, staunch Kiwi, of course, probably doesn't have the greatest relationship with Team New Zealand, one would say. Now, Nath has joined Team New Zealand. It's just a little dig into Dolts.
The grassy knoll conspiracy theorist.
The snipers are out.
Where'd you get that one from?
I've been studying this for quite some time. So I actually found it at the bottom of a can of mismatched pale ale, to tell you the honest truth.
Oh, nice plug.
The conspiracy theory. I like it, Bison. I like it.
All right. Well, let's sort of progress this a little bit. So season 1, we had 6 teams. And as I said, it's Australia, Japan, then China, then Great Britain, France, and US last. Season 2, we had 8 teams. Australia, Japan, the United States moved up to 3rd, Great Britain in 4th. So they've not moved. They've been 4th and 4th. And then Denmark, and then Spain into 7th this time around. Big discussion point there. We'll come back to that. And then France into 8th. So next season, 10 teams. The logical progression. So the 4th season, we're going to be 12 teams and continuing on, adding 2 teams each year. So until we run out of countries or we double up countries. But there is a plan to keep growing this. But we're going to focus in on season 3. I think that's probably where we're at. What do you want to do? Should we go through the performance for last year? Should we? We'll steal some of your ideas here, Jody, with the ratings. Have a bit of a chat about
let's rate them. So
France in 8th. Should we get
quite vanilla, I would say.
Let's give the breakdown, Jody. What you saw through the season.
Yep. Well, your observations there, Joe.
Well, we had Billy Basson obviously on the helm season 1 and halfway through season 2. By all accounts, Billy just wasn't getting on. The team as such, he wasn't using the software and just wasn't performing, so he got the boot.
Mm-hmm.
Put a new skipper on board,
Quentin.
And lo and behold, they still come last.
Well, I will say Quentin is a super nice bloke. If you want to like a bloke, he's easy to like. If you want a bloke to do well, you get a lot of support. Quentin's one of those guys. So he's a great guy, I'll say. Continue.
Yes, but, you think of France, you think of multi-hull sailors coming out of their Wazoozy, and I just can't understand why. They show flashes of brilliance. They'll have a great race, and then they'll just have a shocker. And the consistency is just hasn't been there for 2 years. So that's a worry if you're a Team France supporter. But I can't put my finger on why they're just so inconsistent.
I've got my coaching plan I've done for France is, okay, I've given them three targets, 3 things to make them successful. 1, take the racing offshore, obvious.
Clear.
2, just race these boats single-handed. The minute we go to single-handed, these guys have got it. And 3, deploy fishing boats.
for all the foreigners. You forgot 4.
What?
Fully enclosed cockpit.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
And possibly sail at night. That seems to be where their strengths are. But you'd have to think, Billy Basson was, he's no mug in the catamaran world, but I just don't understand why they were so, and continue to be so loose in their performance, I guess. Like, it just seems like they're, I don't know.
I and my gut here, and then I have a look at the rest of the teams.
Mm-hmm.
Aussie's been sailing, Slinger's been sailing Falling Cats now for 6 years? Japan, Nath been doing the same. USA, Jimmy doing the same. GBR, Ben doing the same. NZ, Pete doing the same. Denmark, not quite so. Spain, not quite so. France, not quite so. And you could almost split the fleet into 3 different groups there. And then that, of course, that last group of the guys that the experience isn't quite there. Is there something there, you think? Or
What about the fact they've made a crew change? Can we bring that in now? What do you reckon? Should we bring that element into the discussion?
Yeah, for sure. We'll
Okay.
sort them out. Yeah.
So France had Lee McMillan as wing trimmer last season. So if you look at the team now, they've brought in Kevin Pepinay to wing trim. He's been a world 470 champ. He went to the Olympics in the 470s. He's good mates with Quentin. Okay, they did the Tour de France thing together. And now they're an all French speaking crew. Perhaps they might be able to understand each other this time, or maybe there'll be less cheese and wine spilt. Because Lee, let's be honest, did spill the cheese and the wine when tacking a little bit too much, and I think that caused a few problems.
Well, yeah, maybe you're nailed it. It's just a language barrier across the English Channel.
It could be.
They just might not let the Civil War ever go on. But yeah, look, it's got to make a difference, doesn't it? Having a full French team, though. What people have to realise, I guess, when you're under the pump on these boats, things happen in a hurry. And then if there's a language barrier, if Quentin snapping on in French, trying to get something across really quickly, and that'd be default language, no doubt. And Lee McMillan's trying to understand it. You only got to be a couple of seconds off, and it all turns to custard. So hopefully Kevin coming in there. They're starting to run out of excuses in my mind. The French,
I reckon,
been word has it though for TV, only English can be spoken.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard through the grapevine.
Okay,
they're putting subtitles on the bottom of the screen.
I think Bicey's
sit there and read really fast.
Bicey's point was the right one as well, though. I think Bicey's point was the right one. It's the time falling, and when you talk to some of the guys, that flight controller role is such a critical thing. I mean, obviously the skipper, wing trimmer, flight controller, the whole team obviously contribute, but that flight controller thing, it's the last 2%, like that that you've got to have nailed. And so maybe it is that time on foils, I don't know.
I think also especially going into the first event, we saw a big jump in the software development between season 1 and season 2 because there was time, and with COVID and what have you. But we've literally had 28 seconds between the last event of season 2 and season 3. So I don't think the boat's software will be updated, and there's not going to be that performance to sail the boats a little easier, let's say. That's not going to happen. There's no big change. And given what we'll see, of course, some updates throughout the season, but given the short time between all the events, it's not going to be like a big quantum change like we saw between season 1 and season 2.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. I think the software changes they're trying to do is collision avoidance software. That's a serious matter. But yeah, look, let's hope France pull their finger out of the behind, because they, everyone loves an underdog, and they're certainly the underdog. So you can't get last 2 seasons in a row and then have a shocker in season 3 and expect to continue on. So they're definitely a team under pressure, if you ask me.
So just one fact that most people have missed for the whole of SailGP any boat that has had any red, white, or blue on it has never won SailGP.
Wow.
Right, yeah. So any boat that doesn't have green or gold on it.
Green and gold.
Even the black boats haven't had any success either, you know. So just you know, some of this stuff you've got to think about, boys.
Mate, you do a lot of research. Do a lot of research.
All right.
Welcome to my world, Jody Shiels. Welcome to my world. I just get boggled. I'm like, what is this wizardry he comes up with sometimes?
Actually, I just got a text from a guy in Bermuda. He said there's massive order just been put in of green and gold. So I think every team's going to have green and gold. So it's going to be on.
All right. Shall we move on to Spain? Let's talk about.
Let's do that.
Española. Off you go, Joe. Tell us what you're thinking.
Okay. Once again, you know, Spain, they were in a great spot last season. They were mathematically in a position to get on the podium if a couple of teams hit a whale or done some damage into the final. There was mathematically a chance for Spain to get in there. Phil Robertson got unceremoniously dumped. Now, there's no other way of I can't sugarcoat it. It was pretty horrible how it's been reported to go down. Obviously, I wasn't there, and I'm not sure if you guys have had the full inside scoop to it. But basically, he wanted to do a bit more training than what he was given. He asked the team, "Well, do you want me to skipper or do you want new bloke to jump on board?" And they said, "Mate, see you later, alligator. You're out of here." So that was him. They went from that being potentially getting into the final to coming second last.
Yeah,
one bad regatta. So that's got to sting him.
Yep. Okay.
I don't know where they're going to come from now. I mean, Geordie's you could see when he took the helmet, he's pretty loose. So try to take the USA out of the picture, and that's not going to fly real far in this competition. You can only say sorry so many times.
Yeah, he's another super talented 470 sailor. Like, he's right at the top of that tree. It was not a friendly removal. I don't think Phil was. Phil was very. How can I say it? He had steam coming out of his ears, but he didn't say anything. Like, he's just
pissed off.
He was definitely pissed off. He also took Fletcher Kennedy with him, which is a big deal. Fletcher's spent a lot of time in Spain, so Fletch heads up the shore crew side of things. A great mate of ours, a man I have a lot of time for, and so that's another big loss for the Spanish team. I've got to say, Fletch is well known in the sailing world. Fletcher Kennedy, that is, not Fletch, the Australian sailing coach. So. Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting. What's any other changes in Spain? So in my notes here, I just off from memory, in the other big one. So we've lost Phil Robertson. They've added, of course, Jody Chummer, as we know, but they've also added a little fella by the name of Jake Lilly. So
apparently he'll be wearing a green and gold bandana.
The other rumour I've heard is they're going to make Jake Lilly wear Phil Robertson's uniform.
with a target on his back.
No. Jake, for the joke is, Jake is he's an Australian. He was the Australian Olympic rep in the Finn class. He's Jake's probably 6'5". And Phil, I don't know, Phil, what are you, 5'6", 5'7"? So that's sort of the joke.
Be a midriff top in him.
Yeah.
Not sure about Jake up the front. He's, like you said, he's 6'45".
Yep.
Fair bit of windage up there with the big unit. He has got a pretty fast haircut at the moment.
Yep.
But the big unit on them grinders.
Oh, mate, what I reckon is we need to get, you're going to have the audio on the Spanish boat for a while, because Jake won't suffer any fools, and he'll thump someone if they don't comply. But the other thing is, none of the other blokes will understand a word Jake's saying. There's just not a chance. Like, he's broad as broad. You reckon we've got an accent? It's It's Broad. He's pretty funny. He likes a laugh, but yeah, he's going to be hard to understand, I reckon.
So when he's on grinder, mate, he'll just be pumping them handles and head down, ass up, so to speak. So good on Jake for getting into the the system, but another Aussie on another team, mate.
He'll still be talking.
So
how'd he go when he was on his spin program? He must have just chatted to himself the whole time.
He had actually one of those new Alexa speakers set up.
Yeah.
Hey, Alexa, which way should I go? Yeah. I'm sorry, Jake. I don't know that. But word has it, I mean, I think the Spanish will do well. Unfortunately for them, though, that the time of the racing is between 2 and 4 p.m., of which time, as we all know in Spain, is siesta. So, unfortunately, not so good.
It. That's just, no one thinks of these things. That's wow, that's genius.
Let's start calling you Bicypedia. Hey?
Oh, you wait till we get onto the K ones.
All right.
But so yeah, that's my take on Spain. I reckon it was a
bad end to the season too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Bad end, badly managed, bad way to finish what was looking like a decent season for
And
him.
let's face it, that stuff doesn't really happen in yachting. We're all kind of nice guys and girls and go with the flow a bit. But this is kind of getting to the top end of the sport in the sense of the top end of other highly paid sports. So things start getting a little bit nasty, of which they did here.
Yeah, and the public aspect of it all, could have been handled in a way better. But anyway, it's done now. It's tomorrow's newspaper fish and chip shop wrappers. So, yeah, let's leave Spain in the bin at this stage.
All right. Well, let's move on to Denmark. You've got a fairly simple assessment here there, Jade.
Yeah, consistency, mate.
Consistency.
What's going on with them? They've Nikolai's like a mate of all your guys, but they're either there, like they win one race of the season at their home event, and then I don't know. They got the sexy man on the wing. He's been through a few programs, Tommy Johnson. So, the bones are there. I just don't know. They've added another Aussie to their team, which is
Pino in there,
which is the big Lukey.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Bit of a
go on.
Yeah, go.
No, I was just going to say. So for that team, obviously, one thing they're sort of inconsistent, as you say, but they're working on it. They're putting an effort. Obviously, Nikolai Sehested leads that team. Really nice guy as well. Nico is coaching, so Chris Nicholson does come in with a bit of coaching. I will say, well-backed and supported team, and they are fully behind Nikolai Sehested. He is fantastic keeping the VIPs happy.
On the commercial side.
On the commercial side, that's it. Yeah,
keeping everyone happy. So that's my question. And we know Rockwell are extremely happy.
Yep.
And all those sorts of things.
Yep.
And of course, performance on the race course is what we look at, but performance in Rockwell's eyes is probably, it's not exactly 1, 2, or 3, but we want to see them 1, 2, or 3. The question is just Nikolai way too nice? Needs to get some mongrel into him.
It's a good question.
Needs to be whatever Phil drinks, Nikolai needs to drink exactly the same thing.
So they did.
I think with Denmark, I reckon when the penny drops with them, they'll be massive.
One thing we never.
Yeah, I concur. The caliber's there, 100% there. Not quite the experience as in hours on the water, but you're right. When it does drop, and one day it might just literally do that, they will be probably a bit of the dark horse of season 3 is my guess.
We've got to remember too, SailGP is all about data sharing. So, like, say the teams are slowly easing their way into how to sail these things. It's all there in front of them. They can literally pull up every single event and go, righto, how did the team that was the fastest in that event, how did they do it? How high did they ride on their foils? What was their turn rate on their rudders? What was their wing twist? What was their drop rate on their boards? What was, how much pressure did they have on their jib sheet? How quick did they? Every single thing is there. So, like with Nico being the coach,
tension of the jock strap.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure whether that goes out to the Oracle Cloud, but maybe they do. Maybe that's what they need.
Yeah,
to do.
apparently there's a WhatsApp group. It's a WhatsApp group. It's called the Unofficial Data from SailGP.
Right. So one thing to think about here, of course, is that Luke Payne coming in, he takes the international spot, which means that Tom Johnson is now no longer the male model from Mandurah. He, I guess, is the male model from Aarhus. So he'd be racing under a Danish passport. So we also lost, the other one is we also lost one of the twins. Lars stepped down. He's gone and got a real job. Because remember, the two twins were the wild boys of that team. So
yeah, the big grinders.
Yeah. So Hans is all by himself, so maybe a little lonely. That's one thing to take into effect. Those boys roughhousing each other at the hip. They're born at the hip, but they've brought in Julius Holstrom, but that happened at the end of last season. So, and Luke, obviously, Paney going to be coming in. So a bit of roughhousing from Paney, he should be able to settle it down. But I think that'll be good. And the other thing is, Paney and Tom, both West Australians, so, maybe they've got a bit of secret language, they'll be able to work it out. I think that could help them, that extra.
They've got some big units on that Spain, mate. Those three boys on the grinders, man.
Yeah.
They are serious. I'd like to be hanging out with them in a bar at night.
Well, not with Marty Kirketerp, because he's only got one eye. He only sees the hit coming from one side.
All right. So we'll position them where we think they're going, but this is the discussion. So we'll move on to the K1W ones. New Zealand. What do you reckon, Jodes? How are they going?
Well, I remember when they announced Pete and Blair coming on board the New Zealand team with Pete, headed by Pete and Blair. Sorry. I sent a text out to a few mates and I said the game just got really lit. Like I was expecting, them rock stars to come on. It is a fairly familiar boat to them. I mean, the operating systems are different. They're grinding, they're not pedaling, all that sort of malarkey. But these guys know how to sail foiling boats, and I just thought, this is going to be tough for these Aussies to. That's always that Aussie versus Kiwi rivalry. And to be honest, mate, I reckon they had a shocker. To be brutally honest, season 2 for them, they had a bit on. They had to win the America's Cup. They had to get second in the Olympics and all that sort of stuff. I get that, but they're pro sailors, and they get just as much time in the boat as everyone else. And it took a standing skipper to come in and win their first race. Pete and Blair offered a 49 Olympic regatta, and standing skipper had to win the Kiwis' first race. So I was really disappointed in the way that the Kiwis went. But that might be just an Australian versus.
No, I'll admit I was in the same boat or on the same tramp, as you probably put it now. But when you look at the lineup, Pete, Blair, Wabowski, Josh Jr., Louis, mate, it's strong, extremely strong, and hence the disappointment, but also probably the what the future looks like for them. I think could be strong, one to be looking out for.
And I guess what we probably a little bit harsh on expecting them to just jump in and kick a bit of butt, but what it probably does show is the caliber of the fleet. We're probably disregarding that a little bit, thinking that Pete and Blair, the rock stars, with the rest of them, just come on in. And maybe I was very naive thinking that. When you look at everyone else in the fleet, so look. There's no way that Pete and Blair and the rest of that New Zealand team after season 2 would sit down on their little push bikes and go, well, that was a good year for us. Coming fifth.
Oh no, absolutely not.
I don't think that was no. Pete and Blair have pulled the pin on their Olympic campaigns. Their full focus is on America's Cup and SailGP now. So let's see how they're going to go next season. But yeah, season 2 for them, I reckon Shiels are down the gurgler.
Right. Okay.
You're in touch with our friends across the Dutch there, Jordan, including your in-laws. Any feedback in regard to SailGP? Do they actually care about SailGP, the Kiwis, or it's all cut, or they've been distracted?
Yeah, they've been distracted. They've been totally distracted. Now, I mean, they'll be rioting in the street soon, but with the move to Valencia, I think. But I think they've been distracted by that. If they'd won, of course, knowing Kiwis, they'd be screaming it from the rooftops, telling everyone how good they are. But, if they don't win, they don't say a word. They try and sort of tamp down things so they don't be seen. Look, you just can't. I think the one thing it does say is just how good this whole fleet is. That's what I want to say out of it. I don't want to put it down as a negative and say, New Zealand suck, but that they don't. They're great sailors, great people. I just think it's just a testimony to how good the fleet is. And, I think one or two teams have got a few things worked out. That's all. I reckon it'd be harder this time around is all I'll say. Anyway, speaking of talented teams, should we move on to the Poms?
We shall.
Lady behind you. Yeah. Let's get on to GBR. And considering what they had to contend with during the year, they've lost 4 points by smashing Japan in half in Sydney. That pretty much ruined their season. And he did get Parko and Goobs flight control. Ben, and I can't stress how important that is for that team. Parko's probably up there with Jason as the best flight controllers in the fleet, and Goobs on the wings no slouch either. So, and the dude with a steering wheel, we all know what he's like. So,
well, that's the question.
Yeah, the issue he has though, all his gold medals get caught in those little wheels sometimes, and kind of. Every turn he does, his head gets a little closer because it's wrapped around it, and then he has to turn back the other way so he can look up. So,
well, here's a hypothetical: if Goobs and Luke Parko had stayed with Nath, would Japan have beaten Australia? Because obviously they've been slowed down by having to drag around Ainsley.
That's impossible to tell, isn't it? I mean, it's got to enhance your chances. There's no doubt about that. Parko's a wild man on them on the flight control. You look at the data when they send the data out. He doesn't mind flying that thing to the limit, and he's got a team around him that are willing to back him up. But come crashes, like we've seen when they done the big nosedive in the final. In where was that? Aarhus, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They pitch poled it off the start in the final, but look, GBR, after the false start in Sydney, season 1 before the old Rona kicked in, they won every race, and it was just that was daylight second. And then the teams, they won in Bermuda, first up, coming back, and just scraped that final out. But everyone thinking, oh, here we go. GBR's just going to wipe the floor of this fleet, and they didn't. They had a few issues. So, and missed a couple of races.
Yeah. So the interesting thing with GBR is Richard Mason's moved on. He's gone to the Swiss team. Nick Hutton has stepped off the Aussie boat. He is a POM by extraction, so he's stepped off the Aussie boat into the GBR boat, which I think was an emotional thing for Nick. I don't know how he felt about it, like he's won the last few editions and stepped across, but he's going home, so it's sort of, it was happy both ways, I think, is probably the best way to describe Nick. But the thing I think we have to start thinking about, maybe not this season but next season, is the New Zealand team are planning ahead for the female component of the racing. They're putting a fairly solid campaign together to bring in a bunch of females. The British team has significantly, they've been very clever with their female sailors. They've got two, they've got some super talented female sailors. And the genius is that they've called them the same name, so it just makes the transition easier. The Hannahs.
The Hannahs, we call them.
But yeah, so, when that role becomes even more strong, I think that helps the British team, is where I would suggest at the moment. I think this year with the women, just while we're talking about it, there's 3 revolving roles. They're bringing in 3 different women throughout the year. Is what I understand it to be. I'm willing to be wrong on that, but they're trying to give more experience out there. So you'll see different.
Yeah, the Great Britain team's got Nikki Boniface
as well, yeah,
on their website as well. So,
yep.
The girls, obviously, we've seen with Nina, her role, how important her role was in Sydney. And then into the final, just being that eyes and ears for the skipper so he can concentrate on his head in the boat. And I think that's probably going to evolve a little bit more. Maybe the sixth sailor or the spare sailor, whatever they want to call them, is going to be more of a collision avoidance role as well, just to try and tell where boats are going to be, which is going to be super important. But, they've got a very strong lineup, Great Britain, but they had a very strong lineup, and they come forth due to a massive error on their behalf by chopping the Japanese in half in Sydney. So, we're not talking mug sailors here, mate. We're talking the best of the best, Yeah. Like Weissy said, he's got more gold medals dingling around his neck than anybody else.
Yeah. I think another team that has gone pretty heavy on the female talent, future talent of the females will be the USA team, who finished 3rd last year. As you, in your little summary here, Jade, I'll just say it because I'm continuing to speak. You stated they had multiple opportunities to win events but fell short at the final hurdle. Was in great shape in the whale race, which obviously was the abandoned race in the final. What do you reckon with the USA? You can't deny that they're a red-hot chance.
Oh, 100%. God, look at Jimmy Spittle driving any boat's a red-hot chance, CJ on the wing trim. You got Rome Kirby on flight control. Rome was obviously the skipper in season 1 and the CEO, and got relieved of that by Jimmy in season 2. Another season in the sailing together is only going to make them stronger.
Yep.
And they've got some talent hanging off the back of that boat too. They've got a bit of foiling experience. Which is I know that sounds crazy, but I just think when we talk about the new teams, I think that's going to be a big thing. Getting people on the boats who might be really good on 420s or really good on 29ers or on 49ers or whatever. There's a big difference to jumping on a boat that's foiling. Jordan, you're having a crack at the foiling world right now with the wingdings, and it's just not that easy.
No, I'm dominating it, Jade. Dominating. I don't describe it as having a crack. I'm changing the horizons. I'm moving the boundaries. I'm rewriting the rules.
Horizon go underwater a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, foiling as I've worked out.
Keep switching every now and then. North, south. Hey, you know what I miss, though, from the US team? And it's probably a bit of a byproduct of having Jimmy at the helm. I want to see way more high fives, a bit more hat backwards type setup. Yeah. That's what we need. Need to bring that sort of stuff back into the game.
Did you watch the Miami Formula One?
No, I did not, but I saw
right,
it.
So that's the level. Highlight. That's the level that the USA need to bring into every SailGP event. Jimmy turning up on a low rider, with music blaring and chains, and you're on it. That's what they need. They need to change their wetsuits and all that sort of stuff. So,
do you think they're
just some Nikes?
Yeah, I don't know. Look. Another team, they're a talented team. I think we have to count them right in. They're right there. They've always been right there. Jimmy wears a lot of pressure. I'll be honest. It looks like he wears a lot of pressure when you see him. I don't think it's going to be easier this year. I think it's going to be harder. But we'll see. You can't write them off. We'll do our assessments of where they stand in a minute. Shall we just discuss Japan? We sort of had a big discussion about Japan with the. Where they've gone. Do we need to go back to them again or not?
One thing I did say, I felt Nathan was a lot more on the press conference than that this year. A lot more. He was digging a lot more.
Yeah, well, that's because we told him to.
Get inside their heads. Yeah.
Yeah, he loves a good mind game.
Yeah.
Nathan's super professional. For those who haven't met Nathan, he's talented sailor, but he's also super professional. But he's an incredibly nice bloke as well. So that whole family aren't they? The Attridges were just a nice bunch of people. But he's very professional. So I'm not quite sure why Japan doesn't have the corporate backing, because you'd be pretty happy having that skipper representing any sponsors. Like talking to your potential clients and stuff, because Nath is good at it.
Oh, 100%. I think the biggest issue is they don't have an event. Simple as that.
Yeah. He rolls with integrity, Nath, is the best way to describe the bloke.
So is some of this weight going to be put on Leo's shoulders now? Like taking a pivotal role within the team, that he can actually really wave the flag now for Japan, in Japan.
Well,
and actually try and maybe create that commercial partnerships that are needed to get them back on the start line.
Well, it has to. I mean, him and Tim have just joined up. Hopefully we've announced this. If not, bad luck, boys. I'm doing it. As a 49er group for the next Olympics, representing Japan. So they're obviously going to be the face of high performance sailing in Japan, SailGP, all that sort of stuff. So absolutely it should fall on the shoulders. Nathan being the CEO of the group, tough because he's not a national, but when you've got boys on board and you've got Senna, she's an FX sailor.
Yep.
And went to the Olympics last year. So
yep.
It's got to fall on their shoulders to start getting out there and getting support. Otherwise, like I said at the start, they'll be gone.
And in all fairness, they are probably the most nationalistic as opposed to apart from Australia.
The other thing is, of course, they've got that developing nation thing. So they've actually got 3 non-Japanese sailors, what constitutes non-Japanese sailors on the boat with Nath, Chris Draper and Francesco Bruni. So, as that goes to your point then, Bossy, just around the nationalistic element of Japan. So it also goes to your point, Jody, in that if some money comes in, a nation that could put a whole bunch of sailors onto the field would be tough. It would be tough for some of these sailors. So if you want to lock Japan in, get behind them. If you're a sponsor, get onto it. I wish I could say that in Japanese to make life easy for that pitch, but yeah, get onto it now.
Show me the money. That's how it is. I mean, look, let's be honest. They've just announced Singapore, right, as a venue.
Yeah.
Now we see how strong Singapore all of a sudden are getting in windsurfing, and they're starting to medal. Don't be surprised if there's not a check come out and say, "Right, how about we replace that Japanese boat with a Singapore boat, and we'll fill your coffers." So this is the commercial world we're living in. Unfortunately, I mean, it's you keep saying, Jordan, there's a lot of nice people in the
I like everybody
in the teams. Everyone's beautiful, but unfortunately, beautiful doesn't pay the bills, and I'm worried about Japan. And I'd be horrified if they do go, because I've got a pretty big emotional attachment to them. So get some money out there, Jordan. You got plenty of money, mate.
Well, like you said, beautiful doesn't pay the bills. That's why Jordan's got shitloads of money.
Where did this come from? All right, let's move on. Speaking of the Australian team, can we criticise them anyway, or are we just heaping praise?
Got to praise them, mate. $1 something million in the bank, and one thing with the Australians, it's the same lineup for 2 seasons.
Yeah,
and they might have had Kinley's jumped in now in the grinding position from he hardly. I don't think he'd done a race in season 1. Done a lot of training, but hardly was on the boat. Now he's full time on the boat. But apart from that, you've got Tommy, Kyle, and Jason Waterhouse in that key positions. Been the same since season 1.
Ed's jumping in now.
Ed Powers is jumped on board. Ed's been in and out in a couple of events with him, but geez, you just can't underestimate the power of having those sort of guys. That you don't have to. They just know what you're going to do. Sammy Newton's been with them the whole time. Sammy does the jib trim and all that sort of stuff. So.
Yep. Bringing in Natasha Bryant.
So that's a great move.
Yep.
That's a great move. Getting young females. I think she's actually on board this event. I think Nina's not on board, so Natasha's on board. So she'll be loving it. She'll be frothing.
Yep. No, so Aussie team, you're right. Stability has been their friend. They've been nailing it. Here's the theory. Have you guys considered? I wonder, as part of the contract for Tom to go to American Magic in the USA, has there been a element put into his contract with American Magic that he has to let the US win? Is he sailing for the USA and we don't know it?
Oh, I'll tell you after race, after this.
I'll tell you after race
across
1.
On starboard, and he tucks away underneath the USA and waves Jimmy through. Yeah, you're on it. You're right. Through you come. Andrew Campbell will be sitting there giving him a little wave, saying, "I got your back, mate. We're teammates next America's Cup. You'll be right." Maybe. I mean, the Aussies were funny, but if they either won or they were last.
Yes. Well done.
They were never in the middle.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They had two events last year where they were so motherless. I think they were 8th and 7th.
Yeah.
You know what? When you're sailing in a race, Jodes, you either come first or last when you bang corners, mate.
No way, mate. Bang the corners is the smartest strategy. All you kids out there,
no,
just go off the start line, go to one side, look over your back shoulder. When you can see the mark, that's when you can tack and come in hot. That's all you got to do.
That is incorrect, children. Do not do that.
Jody Shiels' next book coming out entitled "Bangin the Corners."
Yeah, Jody's book of tactics, 3 pages long.
1 page.
I was going to say with 2 blank pages in it.
That's it. So what you do is you just get a paper and you just draw a triangle, and then you just go from one side to the other, go to the top, go back to that same spot, and come back. It's pretty easy.
All right. All right, let's bring in. We've got to talk about a couple of other teams. Team Canada.
Yeah, well, we touched on them earlier, didn't we? They've come in all guns blazing. Phil Robertson on the helm.
Yep.
And a full Canadian Canadian team. Fully funded. They got plenty of me, put it that way.
So Phil, for all his all the trouble he had, he did have Spain sitting in fourth, and then he was in China season 1, and he had them finishing third. So he's not scared of taking an inexperienced team and making it work. They don't have a lot of falling experience. Phil is obviously good at getting them going. The team it's going to be loose. I reckon if you went out to a party with the Canadian team, it could be loose. There's some good backers in that team, and they're all there with the right attitude, is what I'd say. They could be anything. They could do anything, that team. I reckon. I don't even know how to predict where they're going to end up, but I wouldn't write them off straight up. I think they could do better than people think, is what I'll say.
Did Phil reach out again for you, Jordan, just for a bit more coaching?
No. We haven't had any conversations on that part. I do worry about if their performance will fluctuate like Bitcoin.
Basically, one day you're the rooster, next day you're the feather duster. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and and the moods of the backers could be based on that as well, because I think that they're heavily tied into the Bitcoin world. So yeah, I don't know much about these sailors. I think we'll start talking about them more throughout the year. But best of luck to them. And as everyone says, Canada to Northern Australia.
They've almost got the same twang, haven't they?
My big concern for Canada, right? I've got to be honest. They're not going to shine until they do the ice race. I think the boat will be slow with the ice skates on the bottom of the falls. Bit of
cavitation, you reckon?
But what I'm interested in, and this is what I'm really interested in, if there is a collision, do the Canadians run into the other boat and hip and shoulder the opposition, smack him into the wall? Is that going to be a hangover?
No, mate. Huh? No. What happens, and Phil's actually in training now, they rip their helmet off and just go absolutely toe-to-toe, hammer and tongs, just taking it on.
Ice hockey style,
Yes.
Mate, expect to see some solid mullets from these blokes by the end of the season.
Yeah. And I Phil, I know you're listening, when you ready to tack, just remember, just say ready about, and you're right to go. Right? Ready about, ready about,
No, that's actually a question. Like an A it could be a question mark or an exclamation mark at the same time. Yeah. So don't mix them up.
Okay. So volatility for sure for Team Canada. The Swiss team.
Do you reckon, sorry, before we go on the Swiss, do you reckon Phil's going to be anywhere near Spain off start one?
100%.
Do you reckon?
100%.
If I was the director of SailGP, race 1, I would say cameras only on those two boats.
100%.
I wouldn't give a rat's ass about who is leading the race. I'd be just focused on them, because I reckon Phil, dead set, have game face on just to prove a point. If that means putting Spain into a compromising position, I'd say it's going to happen.
And let's hope that theory of heading for the red spot on Team Japan, whereas Team Spain have a big red spot about the middle of their wing. So
I think
incoming.
And you know me, I like everyone, so I'll just say I love I have some good friends in that Spanish team. We have a good time. So, but I can see the Canadian team. I reckon I could see the Canadian team sailing out to the first race with some ice hockey sticks, just tapping them on the side of the boat.
Tell you what,
or a couple of clubs, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey. You good old-fashioned Bobby knocker.
Well, whatever works. I guess.
Right. All right. Team tilt.
Do you reckon?
Let's go. Sorry.
Reckon Craig Mitchell will blackleg Phil this year, knowing that he's got
TV ratings will be through the roof, mate. He'll get away with everything.
Absolutely.
There's no chance of anyone black fragging him. It's on. Good for ratings. As we've discovered, anytime we put controversy on this show, holy crap, the listeners love it. The Swiss team. First off,
straight to on the fence.
First off, yeah, exactly. Yeah, controversy to
limited.
Yeah, no controversy. Neutral. First off, genius. The skipper, absolute genius in naming a bloke by the name of Seb Schneider.
Seb Schneider.
Like every
Hashtag Palmy.
Every Aussie is going for the Swiss team now because they're going, mate. Every Aussie, for those who don't speak Aussie, chicken parmigiana, a schnitzel. You go to the Aussie, you go to the bar and you go, can I have a chicken schnitter, please? That's how you order in Oz. And we've got Seb. So we've got Seb the schnitzel on the helm. So that's not insult, Seb. Don't take it that way.
I do not at any point in time think you're a deep fried piece of chicken. Right? Crumbed, mind you.
Your thoughts, Jode?
Well, they've dragged Stuart Parmigiana, so he's gonna be really come on, let's focus.
No, Jason Chicken Wing is in there.
Yeah, Jace Chicken Wing and Richard. Oh no, I can't use that. Mate, how good's this? But 26-year-old got the helm of one of these things. What were you doing, Jordan, when you were 26? PG rated.
The PG rated. 26. Jeez, I can't even remember. I was probably getting sacked from some job.
Well, I see. What were you doing at 26?
Probably just got the world 24-hour speed record. Just saying, but
you shouldn't have asked.
You're a rock star as well. But were you?
No. But put it this way.
Up in the program.
I probably, at the age of 20, stepped onto a 49er for the very first time. First tack, just stepped straight off the back of the boat. And she was doing at least 7.8 upwind. How about these blokes? 20.
This guy, this is, he's been Team Tilt. It's not his first rodeo. These guys have been around forever.
Yeah,
that's right.
They seem like they've been around forever.
Yep. So they're bringing a lot of experience. Yep. So they could go pretty well. The question I have to ask, in the female team, Metro, I'm not sure. Every female Swiss sailor has the surname Metro. Is that part of their culture? I don't know, because in every Swiss sailor we've bumped into in our travels, Bice, I'll be honest, it's been a Metro, hasn't it? For the females.
The direct translation when you mix French, German, and what else? Italian.
Yeah,
Metro means the sailing goddess.
Ah,
yes. So that's it. That's where it comes from.
Okay. Well, there you go. So, look,
I just thought they were twins.
No, they're not twins, but anyway, are they? They might be. I don't know. How would I know? Regardless.
Go with my theory, gents.
Yeah, I think Bice is right. Sailing goddess.
Is it the Danish or whatever that Doida Sir, or you have your Jordan Doida Sir is your last name?
Oh.
I don't know. I watched the Extreme Games. Extreme, what do you call it? Watch that, and all the females had that Doida Sir or something. Could be the same.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm gibbering.
Indeed.
But yes, you're right. Stewie Bithel's come on. Mm-hmm. How's this, but Stewie was the flight controller for season 1 of GBR. Now they've got him on.
Not a bad move, though. In the sense of a bit of experience going there. Because it's fair to say the rest, not necessarily so.
Okay.
But they always put up the good fight, the Swiss.
Yep. Okay, so here we go, lads. I'm going to ask you the question, right? It's just got to answer. We've got position 1 through 10. Switzerland. This is for the whole series, season 3. At the end of the year, season 3, where are they going to be?
8.
Okay. Are we writing this down? Oh, we don't have to. It's being recorded. Okay. Canada.
8. Oh, sorry. 6.
Okay. So, Joe, you haven't answered anything yet. Switzerland?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, this is
Swiss,
putting us a bit on our spot here. Yeah.
I think Swiss is going to be 7th.
7th. And Canada?
5th.
Okay, good. All right. France. En français.
10.
Yeah, I'm going last.
Ooh.
They need to sort their stuff out, otherwise I can't. Anyway.
Spain.
On down that road.
9.
Oof.
Same.
Geez, I'm going to leave someone out here. Someone's going to come through with a win. Because I've left them off the list.
Denmark.
I think Denmark's probably going to come
7.
Okay. New Zealand.
3.
3rd.
Ooh. Snap. They can't lose it, is my view. They cannot lose it.
Really?
Yep. Okay. Great Britain.
Oh, shit. Forgot about that. I'm
going 2.
2.
Yeah, I'm 2. I'm with you. I'm 2.
Okay. In my opinion, they can't lose it.
Yeah, 8th. Oh, sorry.
No, they can't lose. They won't lose it. United States.
I think they're going to come 4th due to too many distractions in America's Cup World.
This is the thing that it will imply. Yep. What do you got?
No,
boss?
I'm with you. I was equal 3rd, losing to account back in the final.
Okay.
To New Zealand.
Okay. Okay. All right. Japan.
5.
Oh,
Going to be super strong. They're going to win regattas, but due to missing several, they're going to end up 5th.
yeah, I got them at 6. I think this early interrupt is just going to be good for the whole thing.
Otherwise, they'd be podium.
Yeah, your point, Jode, is spot on with the average point thing. That if they come out of the first 3 races and they go bang, 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 they'll be right at the top of the podium. They're either going to be midfield or top of the podium is what's going to happen. And then, of course, Australia.
3-peat for me.
3-peat.
1-1-1.
Yep.
The 3-peat. So green and gold is the secret. Yeah, they can't lose it either.
Correct.
So
we're going to have GBR, New Zealand and Australia as joint winners.
Yeah. Yeah. No, look, everyone's going to be a winner here is the honest answer. Yeah, sailing's going to be the winner, but it's going to be hard. There's going to be a lot of, I think the organisers, because they don't have spare boats, are worried about collisions, so there's going to be a lot of emphasis on spare boats, and keeping boats apart. So I think it'll be pretty tough. I think the big one that we haven't talked about, this could decide the whole regatta, is logistics. In the age of COVID, will boats be there? Will marks be there? Like we saw in San Francisco, they had to jimmy up some marks, and some of those marks decided to go for a swim past Golden Gate Bridge. They did an amazing job. Good team of people working their asses off, but there is a chance that stuff will be stuck on ships rather than on the ground. It's a potential.
I heard there was 10 containers didn't make it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if one of those containers was full of wings?
Yep. Yep.
And that's and looking at what do we got? We go May, June. We've got a little break go through end of July to August, and August again, September, November, and then January. So we're in Europe for a while. So you'd have to think that the logistics of moving the stuff around there's not going to be too bad. But if we have a breakage, if things have to go back, like let's heaven forbid, but let's say we have another GBR Japan moment, and a boat loses its bow, and the boat has to be shipped back to New Zealand. We put on the jig to be rebuilt. That just doesn't happen in a week.
Nope.
Yeah. So the fact they don't have a spare boat is a real worry. They've got the wings. Obviously, they're lucky because they're all interchangeable. They're modules, so they've got a little bit of leeway there. But yeah, the boat thing. And we've seen. Look what Spain did to USA. USA was so lucky not to lose the back end of their boat. And it could just happen by just skipping out at the bottom mark, just coming in a bit hot, flight controller not really switched on, and fatigue comes in and adrenaline kicks in, all that sort of stuff, and all of a sudden we have a collision and there's a hole or a boat to be fixed, and then we might have two teams sitting there, and that the event isn't going to be good.
My true or not, this is the word out of Warkworth, but as soon as they finish nice boat, they're just straight into the next one. So whether that becomes a spare and they start building hulls, I'm sure there's spare wings and spare systems kicking around. So the spare boat thing may come into play earlier than later, but going back to your point, Jordan, logistics could actually just cock the whole show up.
Yep. Logistics might win the whole thing. That's one thing to consider. I've got another theory, boys. We're about to sign off, but I've got another theory. We know these boats make a great whistling sound, right, as they zoom around on their foils. Is that sound tuned to whale speak? Like, it seems to be very, very appealing to whales. We're dragging a lot of whales into the events.
You have to ask Dory. Dory can speak whale.
It's interesting, though, where are these whales coming from? It's like sunfish for the Hobart, It's like there's a union out there. They just get together and go, right, you guys take care of the Hobart, we'll take care of the SailGP. It's just...
And fishing boats, you take care of the Mocha fleet.
Yeah.
All right, I've got a theory.
Oh.
Have you ever seen Grant Dalton and a whale together?
At the same time.
Oh.
Exactly.
Nerd.
Maybe they are just
is
worried about SailGP.
Is Grant Dalton really an Octonaut?
No.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got a submarine and dresses it up as a whale and gets around to the event. Who would know?
Well, word has it, they put a microphone down in San Fran to listen to the whales speak, and directly translated, it was "shove that up your ass, Russ."
Oh dear. I've got so many other
15
theories.
all your serve. 15 all your serve.
I've got a lot of other theories, but I think we're done. We probably should just quickly touch on, so racing starts this weekend. So what is that, the 14th, 15th or something? 13th, 14th? Hang on.
4 a.m. Australian time. Get that up, yeah.
15, 16 of May. We're underway. So event one, and the season runs from May to May. So 15, 16 May finishes on the 7th and 8th of May. Looks like it's going to be perfect sailing conditions. South wind, southeast, maybe 8 to 12 at the start, building maybe the next day up to 15. So it's almost perfect conditions. Less perfect for these boats. Less chance of chop, less chance of crashing. It'll be good sailing, good viewing. But I guess given that, the expertise that you two have demonstrated, there's no need to watch because you've already worked out what's going to happen. So, we're good. So no need to watch.
See you next May, gents.
One thing I just thought of as you were giving that speech there, Jordan. Remember in America's Cup, right? There was an email sent around to all the turtles in Bermuda to get out of the Great Sound.
Yes.
Right, and I do recall, I think it was the Japanese team smashing a rudder on the way out. Anyway, it was one of the teams hit a turtle and smashed a rudder. I don't think they would have cleaned all the turtles out of the Great Sound of Bermuda for SailGP. And I might be a bit of a Nostradamus here, but imagine if one of these boats screamed along with a high-pitched whale noise. Does it correlate to turtle talk?
Oh, could be. So, here's the theory. Could you win the regatta in Bermuda by not getting up on the foils and just drifting around and waiting for the other boats to just all crash out?
Tighten themselves out.
Smash their rudders. Well, Canada's going to take out Spain. That's a given. There's a good chance that GBR are going to smash into someone with their form. So that's 4 boats gone. Nathan's not there, and he's normally involved in stuff, so that's 5 gone.
Spain will be on siesta.
Spain will be asleep, so that's 6 gone. Tommy will be probably still spending his first couple of 100,000 from the win, so that's
just got the bling, got one of those big gold necklaces on.
Oh, mate, yeah. I reckon France might come through for the win. It might be just driving Miss Daisy, come from behind, and away they go.
Love it.
Who would know? I'm bloody excited for it. I know that.
Yeah.
Haven't had much sailing in the last 6 to 8 weeks since the season's finished, and just watching the footage coming out of Bermuda now, it is awesome to watch, and it's a great place, Bermuda, to watch and sail. So bring it on, I say.
Yep, here.
It'll be good. If we'll put it up. If you have different views, you're more than welcome to reach out and tell us what you want. So for Barkarati, it's cheers@barkarati.com. Can they reach you, Joe? What's the best way to get to Bangin the Corners?
BSB is 743-218, and account number is 67447327. Just send money, as Dicey always says. Mate, just look up on Bangin the Corners social, bloody Facebook or whatever. Yeah, I'm not very socially active as such.
Yeah.
We just have Bangin the Corners.
Yeah, it's hard for you to be
send us
active.
a message, yeah.
It's hard for you to be active when you're in hands and knees all day, mate.
Oh, please. I'm hearing you.
So I've got one final question for you, Jody. 4 a.m. start, local time. Will you be going to bed late or getting up early?
Okay, so Hotel Wanji closes at 12. Last bus out 12:30. Couple of roadies, mate. I'm staying up.
Yeah, love it.
I'm staying up. The wife will love it. I'm staying up.
Perfect.
Bring it on, baby.
All right, everyone. Great to chat, mate.
Hey, should we get BP? See what he reckons.
Yep. Well, let's at least get BP to do a song.
Yeah.
Do you need to do your outro? Do you have an outro?
You got an outro there,
Joe?
It's pretty cool. My outro is like this. Bangin the corners, bangin the corners, bangin the corners, bangin the corners, bangin the corners. We'll all bang away. High tech.
I'm playing tambourine in Bo's band.
I'm
coming to the Wongi pub playing that.
I've got one thing, Joe.
What's that, mate?
I've just got one thing to say.
Don't act like you're not impressed.
Oh, dear.
Oh, how good are these little units that we get to play with? All right, guys, that was awesome. Had a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Been doing it for a while now.
And we'll catch up soon.
All right.
See you, mate.
See you guys.
Been awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
at night jet through the sea. Down the mountains roll.
Probably what BP's doing right now, running at night.
Running the night train.
While the crest comes smiling to me.